Welcome back to another edition of the Walker Valley Football Coaches Show with Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins. Also, along with him is myself, Andy Morris, and our good friend Jacob Mason. Once again, we're sponsored all season long by Wholesale Supply Group. And Coach, first of all, it's Ooltewah week. We're going to dive into Ooltewah a little bit more as the show goes on. We've got some unique connections there with you. But before we hit on that, let's go ahead and recap last week, big rivalry game against Bradley.
Yeah, definitely a big game, and I thought we played really well. I think we came out and we really played as hard as we could possibly play. I think offensively we had some good scheme things that kept them on their toes throughout the whole game, and I think defensively we played great. And it's just one of those things that sometimes you play great and you play so hard and it just doesn't bounce your way at the end. And I think that's the scenario where kudos to their player, making that kick in such a clutch situation. Kudos to that, but there's so many plays that could have made it go the other direction, and it's kind of like we talked about last week. We want to be competitive in the fourth quarter, and hopefully we can find a way to win, and we just weren't able to, and that's disappointing for sure, or disappointing with the outcome, but I'm not necessarily disappointed with our players. I'm not at all disappointed with our players and with our coaching staff. We did exactly the things that we said we had to do to win the ball game. And it put us in a position to win it. And in the end, we just couldn't get the last stop. We couldn't get the last first down to end the ball game, and that's what cost us.
Yeah, it was absolutely a very emotional game. A lot of highs, a lot of lows, but that's why we love high school football. It's just nice when you can come out on the other side of that, of course. But again, as you said, I think the young men poured it out on the field last Friday night in a very emotional rivalry game at that. Before we dive into any film, do you have your players of the week for your offense, defense, special teams?
Yeah.
Would you mind going over those?
So, man, I know you gave Braxton y'all's offensive player, our defense player of the week, and I think
player of the game.
Player of the game. Braxton definitely had an unbelievable game, man. And he definitely won awards with us. But when we go through offense, defense, I thought Evan played an unbelievable game. When you look at what he did offensively and the things that we told him, hey, you're going to have to go make plays. Like, it's not going to be something where you're throwing a hitch. Notre Dame, I told y'all when we got into this last week, hey, we didn't really ask Evan to do much outside of the simple stuff. Well, this week was completely different. We told, hey, Evan, man, you're going to have to go make some plays in order for us to win this ball game. And I thought he did. The play that went to Tucker Owenby wasn't originally supposed to go to Tucker Owenby. But a broken play that Evan just made it happen. He made the defensive end miss, got just enough time and found Tucker in the front corner of the end zone. The next play was Jackson Gibson on the vertical, which I thought was we're going to get to that film. It's a super cool
I'm
play.
glad you've got that one on there.
It's a super cool play and a cool play design, and I'm going to kind of talk through that. And then the last one to Blaine, I thought was a really good call, good timing, and Blaine made a great play on it. But Evan did things throughout the game in throwing the ball for sure. But he ran for 2 first downs that were huge first downs too, in critical moments. So, I thought Evan did a lot of things, and he won the offensive player of the game for us. Defensively, Braxton was one of we had to do When you hear what our co-defense player of the game, you can't argue with either of them. So when we went back and watched film, Braxton had 7 solos, 1 assist, had a pass breakup and 2 interceptions, and a questionable pass interference would have gave him a second pass breakup. So I thought Braxton had an unbelievable game, man. When you look at his first 2 games this year, having 3 interceptions, the pass breakups, not letting anything behind him, save the one play at Notre Dame, but just being so good, even coming up and making tackles. That's something he didn't show that he would do last year, and how much maturity he's gained over the last year. And then, man, you can't discount what Eli Denton did on the field. When we went back and watched film, he had 15 solo tackles.
All over the place.
12 assists and a forced fumble. So 21 total tackles and a forced fumble, man. You can't not give that kid an award for what he did, and to earn the respect of the other side and Coach Floyd. And Coach Floyd just raved about what Eli did, and the way Eli plays the game is just the way you're supposed to play the game. And then lastly, I thought Elisha Pugh on special teams did a great job for us. We inserted him into kickoff because kickoff was a struggle against Notre Dame, and I thought we came back and did a really good job on kickoff against Bradley Central. and Pugh had 2 tackles on kickoff the other night. So definitely had guys step up. And when you look at it, we made plays. Guys made plays all over the field. Tucker Owenby had a great drive where he caught a slant and then a fade and then an out and then the touchdown. I mean, 4 catches that at that moment we're down 6-0 and we need to go get a score. And Tucker just went and made plays. And then Jackson Gibson's play on offense and defense, man, he was a freaking wrecking ball on the defensive line. I thought Connor Phillips played an unbelievable game, forced some holding calls, but then made plays. He just plays with reckless abandon. We just had guys make plays all over the field. And, you really, that's what I'm most disappointed in, is that we played as hard as we could possibly play. And sometimes you can give everything you got and it just doesn't work out in the end. But man, I can't help but be proud of what the product we put on the field against them.
Yeah, we joked around in the booth. You can give Eli Denton an award almost every time he plays. But I love that you brought up Evan. He did not look like a Game 2 starter that night. Yeah, I mean, going into an atmosphere like that, we talked about there were people still piling in the stadium in the second quarter. Yeah. It looked like a college football type atmosphere where people just continuously are coming in the gates. And for him to come out like that and take on pressure and make big throws in a big time game, you would have fooled just about anybody there if you had told him that was his second game on Friday nights.
Yeah, I going back and we're talking about, I wish I would have put his first completion, that glance to Tucker. I wish I would have put this on that, because you talk about taking a hit. Right through A gap. Number 1 linebacker comes straight through and pops Evan, but Evan stands in there and makes a throw. And I almost think that play kind of made him say, oh, I can do this. Yeah. Because he stood in there, had a great throw, great catch, got hit, got back up, and was like, okay, let's go. And it felt like throughout the game, he just kept gaining more and more confidence, had 40 yards rushing, had 130 yards passing, 3 touchdown passes. I just thought he played a great game, and I hope that catapults into more and more from him.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest stat for quarterback Evan Swarzel is the fact he was 9 for 16 passing, 130 yards, as you said, 3 touchdowns. But if you look at those turnovers, he doesn't turn the ball over, and that's huge for a high school quarterback.
Yeah, he made the one little mistake right before halftime, but it was one of those things that, hey, we're taking a chance. So take a chance, but, man, he just doesn't turn the ball over. He's gone 2 straight games without putting the ball in the other team's hand. That's a big deal. When you protect the ball at this level, turnovers are so critical in winning versus losing. We've done a pretty good job to this point, having more turnovers than we give up. So, man, at this point, let's rock and roll with the film and see some of these awesome plays from the other night.
So for those of you that are listening to us on the radio, Coach Akins is going to do his video breakdown, and we're going to be able to let him talk you through each play from last Friday night in the 21-22 loss to Bradley.
So early on in this, they're trying to get the ball to playmakers, and one of their playmakers was right here in the slot, Jay Allen Terry, number 4. They're going to bring him in motion, and I want you to keep an eye right here on Jackson Wilson. Jackson Wilson, let me start off by saying, is one of the best players in this county, if not the best player in this county. Without him, I don't know if they come back and win that game. They ended up putting his hands in the 4th quarter and made play after play. But Eli meets Jackson here, and it kind of causes a domino effect with Jacob being able to get to this. But this is the first turnover of the game. What you're going to see is them come in motion, and they're going to lead this play with Jackson, and Eli's going to come meet him right on the edge here. Just keep an eye on him and Eli. Boom, right there. And what happens is that sets the edge, and they have to cut back inside, and Jacob is able to strip the ball. First drive, we talked about it as we went into it, man. We've got to find a way to have a turnover. And, man, what a cool way to get that turnover here.
One of the most impressive things is about that, and it's going to be a good view, Eli stuffs him right here and then gets off the block and still makes that tackle.
Man, Eli's a great player, man. He's so instinctive, and like I said, man, what a great job setting the edge, physical play, and then Jacob fighting. If you watch Jacob too, Jacob fights through this block by the guard, boom, right there, and is able to get his hand in, make a strip, and we first drive of the game we get a turnover, and that's exciting for our guys for sure. Oh, I did put it on there. This is awesome. So this is a great view of this drive. So at this point, they had the fake punt where they go, it was really a broken play. And after watching it, there were some mistakes by a lot of people on that play that kind of cost that. But came back, and we were able to get the ball back. And we know we got to go score at this point. Like, this is a big deal to go score. So we go straight to Tucker, and Tucker says, hey, they're playing me one-on-one. Let's go attack this. So we're able to attack this here. So we go inside zone fake and go Tucker on the slant. And what a great throw and catch there. But what I want you to see is this view. And watch Evan. We run the inside zone fake, downhill, and boom, he takes that hit but makes that throw. And this is what I was talking about. Taking that hit and being able to make that throw.
Hanging in there, absolutely.
Is a big-time play by that kid. So really excited for him on that. Next play, we go straight back into it, and we go a fade ball to Tucker. Again, they're still playing one-on-one on him, so we're going to take advantage of that. This is all the same drive. So Tucker goes up and makes a play against a really good corner there. Number 7's a great player, and he's played for a few years, and Tucker went and made that play. And then the very next play, we go back and we throw our out cut. It's just an out and a slant. And again, Tucker's going to make a great play off play action, keeps him in the box. Evan puts the ball where Tucker can catch it, and the DB cannot undercut it. And then he's able to slip outside, and a huge gain there. And then the last play of that drive that Tucker makes a play is right here. And again, this is 3rd and 14. This is a big-time moment. We talked about last week in here. When we talked about last week, one of our points of emphasis was that we wanted to score touchdowns in the red zone. It wasn't about scoring field goals. We wanted to get touchdowns in the red zone. So when you watch this, this was a big-time play where our initial read is not open. What we're trying to do is I'm hoping that this is man coverage, and I think it was supposed to be, and he should run across with Tucker, and we're actually trying to slip Jackson Gibson on the back side of it. But you can see their corner falls underneath it. Evan sees that, makes a play out here to B, and is able to score a touchdown. So
good
awesome
check down
play.
by Evan.
Yeah, great job by Evan just going and making a play. So, that drive by Tucker is such a big drive, and it's a really cool moment for him as we go through that. I'm going to fly through the rest of these because I know we're limited on time, but Braxton, player of the game, able to undercut this double move. So you see they're trying to bait us up with a zero hitch. Braxton doesn't take it and undercuts that vertical. That's a big-time play by him. We come back later. This is second half. First drive of the second half. We talked about at halftime. We have to go make a play and go score a touchdown here. Let's put some pressure on it. So that drive out of halftime, going down and scoring immediately is so big, and this is a really cool play, and I think we should probably end here on this one, but watch it from this angle. So what we're trying to do here is we're going to block inside zone. So we're going to go inside zone block here, inside zone, and everybody's stepping to the right. We're going to lock this backside. Downhill run to get the backers up, and then Jackson's just going to slip this vertical. And when he does that, let's watch it from this view. Again, this safety, so at this point in the game, we've done so much at bringing the safety down in the box. So he's finally got him down in the box where he has to make plays on the run and has to guard man-to-man on pass. And we're able to bait him into coming up for the run. And you watch Jackson's timing here. Watch Jackson really sell run there, sees him come up, and then goes vertical. I thought we overthrew it live, man. But what an unbelievable throw and catch.
Yeah, of course, right there, that was Jackson Gibson's one-handed catch for a touchdown there inside the red zone against Bradley.
Okay, so again, from this view, you'll see him really sell run. We bait the safety up, and we're able to go make a play. What a big-time play by that kid, and a great moment for that kid. But
I know Jacob and I were very pumped up when that happened because we had a great view of him just reaching out with that right hand and bringing that ball in. It was a lot of excitement going on in the radio booth from him and I for sure.
What an amazing play by that kid. He's worked so hard at tight end, and it's fun to watch him, that pay off. So, and then the last couple are just, our interceptions here. Braxton down here again, another big critical moment here. And Braxton undercuts the slant and picks that off in the end zone. And that's Braxton's third interception of the year. And he returns it down. But, man, what a big-time stop by our defense there. We come back, we have a turnover. No, we didn't. We got stopped and had to punt. And then Tucker Owenby picks the will off. And I really thought he had this one to the house. If he doesn't get pushed out there, man, I think it's obviously, we talked about, these one or two plays that could have changed the game. You look how close he was right here. That's just that last guy is able to push him out. And unfortunate, man, because I thought he was going to the house there on that one. And then the last turnover, Eli, so this is a really cool story. Eli just fumbled. And it was kind of a moment where it was like, man, like we really had a chance to go make a play there and make it 21-0. Instead, Eli fumbles and it stays 21-12. And Eli fumbles and it keeps it at 14-12. And then this is a better angle from here. But they go and throw it, kind of a broken play. They go throw, and look who makes the forced fumble there is Eli Denton.
Number 42.
He came over to the sideline. He said, Coach, I know I made a mistake, but I got it back.
That's awesome.
And just his understanding of, like, I need to go make a play now is really cool. And then the last play that I have on here is, Blaine has bided his time, and he hasn't got a whole lot of opportunities. For him to go make this catch is so awesome. And, what you saw was, okay, well, at this point, you can't see him in the picture, but there's a shadow over here on the left side. That's a safety. So now they've decided they're going to double team Tucker, and they're going to single Blaine. And Blaine's able to beat this cornerback inside with a really great 5-step slant there. Boom, good change of direction.
Good ball there, too.
Able to cross his face. This is the play that Braxton intercepted because the receiver didn't cross his face. Blaine's able to get across his face and catch a touchdown pass there. So really, we made a lot of plays, man, and excited for our kids to go make those plays. And, you can't be disappointed with the way that we played. We can't be disappointed with the way that we went. We played the game the right way. And sometimes you play as hard as you possibly can, and you play the right way, and it just doesn't work out in the end. And that's kind of what happened the other night. But you see, man, our kids went and laid it on the line. And when a kid goes out and lays it on the line like that, it's hard to discount anything they do.
Absolutely. Coach, during our post-game show, Jacob and I, before we went on the air, during the commercial break, said that between Eli Denton and Tucker Ownby and Braxton Smith, there's not a wrong choice in who your player of the game is.
Yeah, it definitely, and you can go down the list. I mean, Jackson's
Absolutely.
catch was huge. Evans' play was massive. There's just so many guys that made plays, and I wanted it so bad for our guys. I think that was the thing that hurt me the most. It wasn't me. I've won and lost games my whole career, but I wanted it so bad for these guys because they've worked so hard for it. So that part of it's disappointing, but in no way am I disappointed in our guys because they laid it on the line. They did everything we asked them to do.
All right, so with that, we're going to end this first segment here, and we're going to come right back with some Ooltewah information as the Mustangs will be on the road at Ooltewah for the first region game of the season. So we'll be right back here with the Walker Valley Football Coaches Show.
Welcome back to the Coaches Show. I'm Jacob Mason here with Coach Drew Akins and Andy Morris, and it is Ooltewah week. So, Coach, Ooltewah, 7:30. For the people who can't make it, it is going to be on TV. We would rather you listen to us on 99.1, but it also will be covered on TV this week. First time going back since coaching there. You played against them last year, but it's your first time going to be on the sideline. So just kind of talk about that and what that means to you.
It definitely is going to be an emotional night for me. I cut my teeth there. I learned so much about what I do now. I learned there. I started there under Benny Monroe. He hired me in 2009 to coach receivers, and it was like, hey, I was a young kid. I didn't really know what I was doing, but yeah, I love football. I've been around the game my whole life. I know the game. I'm going to come out here and I'm just going to pick it up and go.
Vinny Monroe's a good one to learn from.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool, to have him in my corner every time I see Coach Monroe. It's just, I thank him for just getting me into this game because I really wasn't headed down this path. I was headed down a path that was going to go to PA school and be a physician assistant, and I would have loved that, I'm sure. But man, this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do, and I owe so much of who I am today because of that school and because of my experiences there. Coach Monroe hired me, and then the next year, Shannon Williams took over. And Shannon, I consider my #1 mentor, a guy that just taught me how to work and taught me the game and understanding offensive play and how you scheme things. But more than that, how to be an organizer and a great coach to kids and making sure that you're prepared every single day. Shannon prepared different and demanded different than any other guy I've ever been around. And I owe so much to Shannon. And then Mac Bryan takes over, and a lot of the passing concepts you've seen over the last few years, the post cuts and the corner routes and the dead screens and stuff that we've become accustomed to seeing on Walker Valley Field, I learned from Mac. So many great memories of that school and so many great players that I was able to coach, and just growing up as a coach there, I owe so much to that school. So it will be emotional. It'll be something that I'll have to kind of take a breath in the pregame and say, hey, I know this is a big moment, but the kids tonight deserve my full attention, and I'll have to take a deep breath to get in that zone. But I love that school. I love my time there, and so much of who I am today I owe to that place. So it'll be a fun trip back. It'll be weird being in the visitor locker room and being on the visitor sideline. It'll be different, but Chris Brown, who I coached with at Ooltewah, coached at Ooltewah and at Red Bank, did this a few years back. So I can kind of call him and be like, all right, man, what does it actually feel like over there? And can kind of bounce those emotions off of him. So, but excited to go back and excited to get back on the field and compete again.
Yeah, speaking of coaching connections and players you coach, I mean, we talked about the one that's going to be standing across from the field for you. Yeah, you mind telling that story real quick?
Yeah, Coach Manning was my first quarterback. So
some of us know him as Goose.
Yeah, Goose is my first quarterback. He was the first guy that the first year I coached receivers and Goose was playing running back, and he played a little secondary, and then Goose took over as quarterback his senior year, and Shannon, Coach Williams, moved me to quarterback's coach, and man, we went from there, and Goose was very similar to me as a player. He was a great runner, was an okay passer, and that's probably being generous. And, he and I both lived off running the ball. So I saw a lot of similarities. And then I went to Carson Newman, and Goose went to Carson Newman. Both played under Coach Sparks, and what a great mentor Coach Sparks was to both of us. And just, there's so many similarities with me and Goose's path into coaching and doing what we're doing. And I'm proud of what Goose is doing. I know right now it's just a hard job, and Goose is doing great with promoting his players and promoting their program, and he's doing a great job putting great people around him. Coach Dunbar is their defensive coordinator, and me and Coach Dunbar started at Ooltewah at the same time. So there's a lot of links in there with me and Goose and me and Coach Dunbar that is definitely going to make this a little more of a personal game, but it's very similar to Coach Fant. We talked about, Coach Fant, we're going to shake hands in the pregame. We're going to compete against each other for a few hours. And then at the end of the game, man, we're going to walk across and I'm going to hug their neck and tell them I love them and I'm proud of them, and we're going to talk like we're friends. And it's a cool game when you get to do that after the game. You get to compete against each other. And Coach Dunbar knows me. I know him. And just playing off those things, it's a really cool experience.
Both of those guys, two really good dudes when it comes down to it. One thing that they've done, that stadium, they've put a lot of work into getting it cleaned up, getting it ready for the season. We've seen that on social media. So those of you that plan on being at the game on Friday night, you'll be coming to a nice, clean, good-looking stadium at Ooltewah High School. Once again, the kickoff is going to be at 7:30. Not a 7 o'clock kickoff like last week. 7:30 at Ooltewah High School. You'll be able to listen to Jacob and myself on Sports 99.1. Even if you're at the game, bring your earbuds, listen to us. We like to be interactive with you guys while you're at the game as well. So tune in to us once again on Sports 99.1. So with that, that is going to be the second edition of the Walker Valley Football Coaches Show with head coach Drew Akins. I'm Andy Morris with Jacob Mason, and we look forward to seeing and listening to you guys cheer on the Mustangs on Friday night.